Okay. Um, let's kick things off. So, hello everyone, and welcome to our Autonomous community call. I'm Jim, the head of ecosystem at Autonomous, and I want to start by thanking each and every one of you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to join us today. Your presence and engagement are what make these calls so valuable and helps us drive the project forward. Today, we've got an exciting agenda lined up, packed with updates, celebrations, and opportunities for you to engage directly with our team. Joining me today are Emil, our developer community manager, Nazar, our co-founder and serial consensus re-implementer, Ryan, community manager, and Pradeep, our community lead and ambassador program manager. And I'm excited today, we've got a special guest. It's Alex of Hake Hardware, if you're wondering who that is, up on the stage with us. For those of you who might be new to our community or need a quick reminder, don't forget to follow us on our social media channels. On X, we are at AutonomousNet. On Telegram, there's a link on our website, but we are at autonomous.xyz/Telegram. Take you straight to our group. And the forum, of course, at forum.autonomous.xyz. These platforms are great ways to stay updated on the latest autonomous news and engage with our community between these calls that we hold. So let's take a quick look at the agenda for today. Sort my screen out. Okay. First up, we're going to have a run through the state of the network, our usual set piece. Then we're going to talk a little bit on our main hot topic, which, of course, the farmers in the audience will know. It's the official GPU plotter. Emil will give us a retrospective on the journey we've been on with the Gemini testnets before Nazar marks the final block of the incentivized phase. Then we'll be speaking to Alex on Spaceport and his ultimate autonomous guide. Ryan will then give us an update on the Genesis data contest before Pradeep will deliver a glimpse into some of the exciting initiatives we have planned in the lead up to mainnet. And then we'll round proceedings out with our regular Q&A session. As always, we encourage your participation, so please feel free to raise your hand in Discord or post any questions in the event stage chat on the right. We'll be addressing questions throughout the call, but we've also, as usual, reserved time for a dedicated Q&A session at the end. So let's kick things off with our regular piece, the state of the network. Usually this is led by Randy, but Randy's not here this week, so you've got me, I'm afraid. So let's see if I don't muff it. Here we go. So we have node count is 5,175. It's actually an uptick right at the end of the network, which is interesting. Space pledged, last time I checked, was 128 petabytes flat, which obviously people know that we're incentives are going to be ending today. So as expected, we're seeing a drop. The latest version, there was a release yesterday, so that is the September 17th for the advanced CLI, and Space Acres is version 0.1.36. So what was introduced in those? So the latest version introduces CUDA plotting to both advanced CLI and Space Acres. I can confirm that I have Space Acres on Windows warming my GPU up next to me as we speak. There are a number of other improvements in the last build. The highlights I want to pick out are on the advanced CLI side, we've got improved CPU plotting performance by reducing idle time, so you don't see those drops that we saw originally. Improved plotting and improving performance on modern CPU architectures, such as Zen 4. Obviously, the big one, GPU plotting support with CUDA on NVIDIA GPUs. CPU plotting is automatically disabled if supported GPU is detected, but can be re-enabled if desired. There are flags to do that. And all CLI plotting options that are specific to CPU plotting have been prefixed with --CPU. There are a number of low-level fixes and improvements included as well. On Space Acres, again, GPU plotting with CUDA on NVIDIA GPUs, used instead of CPU when detected. We do need NVIDIA 550 or later driver to make that work. UI translations to French and Spanish languages, which is great to see. Community members are contributing to translating the Space Acres front end into multiple languages. We're really pleased to see that translation happening. Command and C, Command V, so your copy and paste should be working on Mac OS now. That's been a problem for a while. And obviously, the underlying code was switched to the latest SEP 17 build. Sorry, I misspoke earlier. It was CPU plotting performance by reduced idle time, not the GPU drops that I was alluding to. Okay, so there are a couple of known issues on the advanced CLI. There is a probability for plotting to stop arbitrarily and require farmer restart. I've seen that myself. And Nazar's still looking into that. On Space Acres, emojis, sorry, on Mac OS on Space Acres, emojis are not rendered properly. We know about that. And again, on Mac OS, the menu appears to be broken when the mouse is used. Navigation to the keyboard does still work. And then on both versions, both routes to farming, Advanced CLI and Space Acres, it's not really an issue, but I just wanted to highlight that plots do need to be V1 to work with the GPU plotter. So check the GPU plotter documentation for more details. I'm going to pop that in the chat now. Before Randy left, he produced a page, and Vexa in the audience updated it yesterday, quicker than we could. Thank you very much, Vexa. So yeah, that's the latest version. But really, the big news, of course, is the GPU plotter. So as I mentioned, we've made the first release of the official GPU plotter. It is working in both Space Acres and Advanced CLI for CUDA. We've worked on going to support AMD cards. It enables plotting in both standalone and cluster configurations on the Advanced CLI. And the upcoming end of the incentivized testnet happening on this call is the perfect opportunity to experiment with your configuration while the pressure is off. You won't be worried about sacrificing incentivized testnet rewards, of course. It is still early days, so please do report any issues that you see with the software. And I want to thank Nazar on the call for the amazing work integrating the supranational deliverables into our code base and maintaining that tight feedback loop with community members. Those of you who hang out in Farmer Chat and the cluster channel will see that Nazar's a regular in there. And in fact, we're talking about supranational. We are speaking to them. Maybe we're going to have them join us on an upcoming call to discuss the GPU plotting implementation. So keep an eye out for that. It should be interesting. Vexa, you're getting some love today. I noticed that you broke the 3-second sector barrier earlier this week with 2.7 second sectors. I believe you're using a dual 4090 setup to do that. I was reading your forum post actually, and if I understand correctly, I think you saw peaks of 2.06 second sectors. That's just amazing. And if anyone wants to check out where that's being discussed, there's a forum post here. 2.06. That's if I didn't quite come across. Yeah, that's so in that thread there, you're going to get a peek into the bleeding edge of GPU plotting performance. So yeah, amazing, really. The improvement in performance that we're seeing, and we absolutely appreciate all the testing the community is doing with us, and I want to thank you all for taking the time to do that. A common theme emerging appears to be that farmers are identifying that with cluster setups, network bandwidth could be the bottleneck. This is because the sectors are being produced so fast and they need shipping from the plotting machine to the farming machine. So yeah, you may need to upgrade your network speed. Jump into the conversation in Discord if that's a subject you're interested in understanding more on. We love talking about the technicalities of how all this hangs together. And another question I saw earlier today actually is how CPUs are used when there's a GPU in the mix. So just want to clarify, GPUs only plot and replot. CPUs are used for the much less computationally expensive farming process. So they kind of complement each other. You can farm a lot of space on a relatively low power CPU, but plotting it is what takes the time. And being able to do that with GPU unlocks it being faster, more energy efficient, all that good stuff. I have dropped a link to the plotting GPU plotting documentation. As I mentioned earlier, there is this known issue that plotting can arbitrarily stop sometimes. It's reported in the release notes and we are investigating it. And again, we are very lucky to have Nazar with us on the call today. So if you do have any deeply technical questions, now is a great opportunity to ask them. I'm going to put them on the spot a little bit there. But yeah, pop them in the chat. And if one of my helpers could pop a question mark on any tough questions, that would be wonderful. So with all that said, I think Emil is going to deliver us a piece just celebrating the journey we've been on with the testnet. Emil, you want to take it away?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, everyone. As we stand on the verge of an exciting new chapter, it's only fitting to take a moment and look back on the remarkable journey we've all shared together. The path from our early testnets to where we are today has been filled with challenges, triumphs, and countless moments that have shaped the Autonomous network into what it is. It all began with an incredible success of Gemini 2, a testnet that saw over 27,000 live nodes across 60 countries and an impressive 1.3 petabytes of storage pledged to the network. This milestone set the stage for what would become next. Gemini 3 started as non-incentivized testnet that took us into the uncharted territory, pushing the boundaries of what our protocol could achieve. In March 2023, after extensive internal testing, we proudly launched Gemini 3C. This testnet was unlike any other. Among the many innovations, we introduced Consensus version 2.2 and later version 2.3, codenamed Dilithium, along with the Distributed Storage Network version 2, which allowed farmers to sync data from each other, a significant milestone in the decentralization. By late April 2023, we reached another pivotal moment with the launch of Gemini 3D. This iteration introduced groundbreaking updates like the significant overhaul of subspace archiving, aligning it with the specifications of Dilithium. We've implemented KZG commitments and erasure coding, ensuring that historical data could be recovered with precision. While many of these changes weren't immediately visible to our farmers, they laid the foundation for a robust and a secure future. It was also during Gemini 3D that we first enabled domains and cross-domain messaging, a monumental step in allowing application-specific blockchains to be anchored into and validated by the Autonomous network. By July 2023, we launched Gemini 3E, which brought significant improvements designed to enhance the farmer experience. This phase was crucial for testing the large-scale deployment of Dilithium, Subspace Consensus v2, and improving core network performance. The upgrades in Gemini 3 included improved sync times for faster network synchronization, block propagation speed enhancements, and networking improvements that resolved overload issues for certain routers. This phase was crucial for testing and refining the core infrastructure as we gathered feedback and optimized the network for our farmers, ensuring a smoother experience as we approach the incentivized testnet phase. Then, in late August 2023, just over a year ago, we unveiled Gemini 3F, marking the highly anticipated beginning of the incentivized testnets. Building upon the successes of 3E, Gemini 3F introduced crucial updates based on the community feedback, such as DSN syncing enabled by default, farmer plot resizing, giving more flexibility to our farmers, domains, including the introduction of an EVM domain runtime for broader dApp support, and sector expiry and replotting, a new feature to ensure ongoing participation and decentralization. The goal of Gemini 3F was clear: to rigorously test the efficiency and scalability of our consensus at a much larger scale, and most importantly, to reward our farmers for their participation. With the incentivized rewards set to grow at 0.1% of the total token supply each week, this phase lays the foundation for what was to come. By November 2023, we launched Gemini 3G, a crucial phase that marked the next level of our incentivized testnets. Gemini 3G kicked off phase 1 of Stake Wars, a highly competitive initiative designed to stress test every aspect of our network: consensus, domains, and execution. This phase was instrumental in refining the system, incorporating valuable feedback from the community, and ensuring that the network could handle the demands of real-world usage. With Stake Wars, participants battled it out to demonstrate their staking strategies, helping us fine-tune crucial aspects of our protocol. This competitive event was crucial in preparing the network for the challenges of a decentralized mainnet environment. Gemini 3G also introduced significant technical improvements: enhanced staking mechanism, allowing for better scalability and more efficient network participation; performance optimizations across the board, leading to faster block times and reduced latency; and enhanced fraud proofs. In January 2024, we launched Gemini 3H, the longest and final testnet before mainnet. By this time, the incentivized testnet has already undergone various iterations, now culminating in Gemini 3H, as we reach the final steps toward a feature-complete network. Gemini 3H introduced some of the most important updates to date: a more complete implementation of fraud proofs for enhanced security, critical DSN fixes to improve data integrity and syncing, staking protocol improvements enabling greater scalability, and the dynamic reward issuance for fees and reward specification, finalizing our tokenomics. We also introduced the mini space race, a dress rehearsal for mainnet, designed to bootstrap our decentralized, permissionless protocol. This phase has been crucial in ensuring that we have a diverse set of farmers providing secure consensus before fully activating network rewards. Since then, we've reached incredible milestones. Over 10,000 active nodes on Gemini 3H, more than 150 petabytes of storage pledged to the network, the launch of our new low-barrier farming software, SpaceAcres, introduction of GPU plotting, and countless farmer office hours, where we've answered hundreds of questions from our dedicated community. And today, we say goodbye to Gemini 3H, our final incentivized testnet. It's been a journey filled with growth, learning, and unbreakable community spirit. This testnet has shaped the future of our network and the incredible farming community that stood by us every step of the way. Farewell, Gemini 3H. You've been our companion in preparing for what's to come. Now, we look forward to the dawn of a new era, Autonomous Mainnet. Thank you all for being part of this incredible journey. Together, we built something extraordinary, and the best is yet to come. Now it's back to Jim and you, Nazar, to mark the final incentivized testnet block.
Hello guys again. It should take just a few moments to submit an extrinsic to our chain and wait for it to be confirmed by a couple blocks so we know it will not be reverted. And I'll share the block number and the block hash in the chat shortly. I think it was sufficient. Let's see. Okay, so here we are. This is the link to Explorer, and block number is 3,338,258. And that was the last block in which you might have gotten incentivized rewards on 3H.
Thanks, Nazar. So yeah, I did the classic mistake. I ended the screen share instead of coming off mute there. Brilliant. I don't mind admitting I was a little bit choked up with that wonderful retrospective from Emil there and the journey we've been on. Thank you, Nazar. So we've as Nazar says, we've submitted an extrinsic. So the end block has been immutably marked on the chain. So yeah, again, I saw there's some great, bittersweet, exactly, Punky. I've seen Messages Dragon, Penguin, you know, there's many faces in the crowd that have been with us for many of those phases. And yeah, I mean, there's so many memories, so many struggles. But yeah, as Emil wrapped up there, you know, it's built this resilient network that, you know, we feel is ready now for mainnet. So the next steps, of course, this is that, you know, I'd like to highlight that ending the incentivized testnet, while it's bittersweet, this is a task ticked off our mainnet phase 1 launch map, which for those following along, we can see what's involved in this post here. You know, ending this incentivized phase enables us to finalize and deliver tokenomics to the community, which we know it's a common request, and we're optimistic that they will be delivered in the next couple of weeks. We are planning, actually, something interesting. We're planning on an upcoming call, which will likely unveil them among other exciting things we've been working on in the background. It will be in a new format, to our usual kind of special edition farmer office hours, developer office hours style, as we're doing today. So please do keep an eye on announcements to make sure you don't miss it. Yeah, so I guess just farewell, old friend. The testnet is no longer incentivized. So I'll be interested to see what the network stats look like over the next few days. Hopefully Dario will give us a updated graph in a week or so when things have settled down. Thanks, Nazar. And okay, so next up we have a special guest. So for those who know, Alex Hake runs the Hake Hardware Substack and YouTube channel, and I suspect other socials. And he's very kindly agreed to join us and run us through some of the things that he's been working on. So he's been in the community for a while and been producing consistently great content to help farmers get set up and understand how the protocol works. We did highlight some of these contributions last week, but this week, as I said, we're very lucky to have him on the call for a bit of a chat. I think he's going to give us a bit of a screen share, so I'm going to have to do a bit of juggling here. But Alex, are you there?
Hey, I am here.
Wonderful. How's it going?
It is going well. Thanks for having me on, especially on such an important community call.
No problem. I love your content. I have a bit of a Docker fetish myself. I love a bit of infrastructure as code, and Docker is, I feel like, the gateway drug to cubes and going down that dark road. But I find that your content is very accessible. But I was hoping we could just have a little bit of a chat, really. So I guess first of all, what brought you to? I guess it was Subspace when you joined, but what brought you to the Autonomys network?
Yeah, I was actually reflecting on that this morning with the end of 3H coming up. But I've been on a lot of different crypto projects in the last few years, and I think it's probably somebody on this call who brought me over and taught me initially about Subspace, now Autonomys. So yeah, I see a lot of familiar faces, and it's definitely, you know, the people that I've seen in a lot of these other projects that got me introduced to Autonomys.
Excellent. Yeah, so I had a similar path. It was word of mouth that got me interested in the project initially.
Yeah.
So I've been brushing up on your content today, actually, and there's two main things that I wanted to discuss today. So first of all, do you mind just running us through what Spaceport is?
Yes. Yeah. Spaceport has been kind of a pet project of mine. I think I started it back in March, and it's been kind of a busy year. Just briefly go over some things that have happened this year. I got married in February. I found out my wife was pregnant due in November, so coming up. I did a cross-country road trip across, from Arizona to Virginia. I moved into a new house. So there's been a lot going on, but I've been working on Spaceport and I've been putting out updates, and it's been a little bit slow. But I love doing coding projects like this. And, ultimately I'm hoping that this project will help people but it also helps me learn, new technologies a lot. I'm not like a developer by trade or anything like that. So this is just sort of a project that I've been working on, and I'm going to attempt a live demo here. So if you don't mind, I will steal the screen from you.
Absolutely. I want to say congratulations. I can see that. Yeah, you're getting some congrats in the chat there. But yeah, way to change your life fundamentally in a
Yeah.
big way there. Yeah,
Yeah, it's been
congratulations.
a crazy year, but I have been making progress, and I'm going to continue working on this. This is basically like it runs in Docker, and it's really right now just for other people that are running in Docker. So apologies to anybody else that might be using some other method. But this is the front end, which I call Cosmos, and it's written in Next.js, which is kind of like a TypeScript library. And it has an API that uses the MySQL database. And when you first start it up, it doesn't really have any events or anything like that. There's a second part called Hubble, which actually scrapes the logs from your Docker containers and will publish those events to a MySQL database. So I've got Portainer up here, which is a Docker graphical user interface. And I'm going to be looking at Bob here. And I have these stack files, which are basically like Docker Compose files, if you're familiar with Docker in general. I have an Autonomys cluster running, which just has a cache, a controller, and Nats going right now. I actually took down all my stuff last night, so I realized that I needed something up for the demo today. So I just put a few containers up here so I can do the demo. We've got Cosmos running, which has just a Docker container for the actual Cosmos environment, and then a MySQL database, which is super easy to set up if you're in Docker. So there's just a really simple stack file here that sets all this up. And what I'm going to do live is I'm actually going to start the Hubble container, which will start publishing events from my Docker containers. So I'm just going to click update this stack to deploy Spaceport Hubble. And if we go in here, we can see it's starting to insert some events. I have the piece cache is actually syncing right now. But if we move back over, we can see that the events are starting to come in. And it auto refreshes right now every 10 seconds. And we can see I'm up to 4.8%. This is just like the raw events. So I'm not actually like parsing the data out of here. I'm just kind of displaying the latest events. There will be additional features which actually take the events and turn them into different states. So you'll be able to go into like your cluster controller and see that it's at 4.8% for the percentage of the piece cache synced and estimated time of when it will be synced. And if I do a little refresh here, we can see now it's detecting I have a cluster controller, a cache, and Nats. And this is just the initial kind of like dashboard here. Eventually, I'll add additional information about your farmers and your farms, so you can see them plotting and replotting. I want to add to the dashboard here like active sectors being plotted and by which plotter, and then maybe some like overall metrics like plot speeds and reward rate, things like that. And also an event explorer. So I won't show it in this because we don't have too much time, but you can actually like go into the MySQL database and see, you have thousands and thousands of events that are going to be stored in this MySQL database. So I'm going to build an event explorer. So if you want to, search for a specific event or, maybe there's something that occurred that you want to go back and look at, you'll be able to do that through the explorer on the front end instead of having to like run MySQL commands on some like IDE or client or something like that. So I think it'll be pretty cool. The main benefit, if I could recap it, is just basically that I might have a bunch of different computers. So I've got like Milton and Bob here, my two computers that I have connected right now. But if I had 10 other computers, all of them could just run Spaceport Hubble and it'll start publishing events to Cosmos. So you don't have to run both these, like the front end and the back end. You can just run Hubble on all of your computers and they'll be publishing all the events to a single dashboard here. So they'll start populating with all the farmers and nodes and cluster containers that you have here. So it's just a nice way to aggregate all of that if you're using Docker.
Wonderful. So I'm surprised that you're not a dev by trade, Alex. So this is all pretty trick. So what you've got going on here, one of the things about Alex's content is it's really accessible. It's talking about pretty technical concepts, but it's very accessible and it kind of does build your knowledge up. Maybe it's not like entry level for complete noobs, but you do kind of highlight that as well. You say you need to read the docs to get some context. But so what we've got here is I think you're using Python in Hubble to extract the events and push them into a database. So you're kind of building the foundation there, and then Cosmos is the UI that sits atop that. Which really, once you've got that solid foundation of all the data, you can extend and kind of dream up all sorts of uses and wonderful UIs. If I got all that right, Alex, is that accurate?
Yeah, exactly. I think the main thing I wanted to do was like keep all of those events in a database that I can just have fun with and create different dashboards and some metrics. And I know there is like the Prometheus like endpoints that you can use with Grafana, and that's really awesome too. And I'm going to have some videos on that. But this is just kind of like an alternate way of doing it if you prefer to just have like a dashboard like this.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think you're doing it right by building that foundation, and I assume you're open to community contributions as well. Maybe someone wants to help you build out Hubble or Cosmos, and maybe come up with another UI.
Yeah, people are welcome to add features. The API, it's a very easy API to work with. So people are welcome to build like terminal like inside like a console or something. They're able to actually just hook up into this API, and you can see like just the data is formatted pretty easily to work with. So if someone wants to, extend this or build different front ends for it, they can definitely just use the API part instead of the front end and the API.
Excellent. Yeah, I was impressed seeing your diagrams showing kind of how the components hang together, the infrastructure, go via an API, not just sending it raw straight into the database. Yeah, I was impressed by kind of the for a passion project, you're doing it right, which is wonderful to see. Okay, so you're not just doing spaceport though, are you, Alex? You produce other content as well. Maybe after we finish, you can drop some links in the chat for everyone to your Substack and your YouTube channel, because you're also producing a 10-part autonomous mega guide.
Yeah, and I'm actually cheating a little bit. I ended up having to do like a 6 and a 6.5 guide because there was just so much information that I was trying to get out there. So maybe 11 part if you actually count them all up.
So monitoring can get quite you can get in the weeds with that. So I appreciate that. So what is it you're trying to achieve with the mega guide? What's the I know you kind of list out what your plan for the 10 episodes is, but what would you say is kind of your overarching goal for them?
Yeah, I mean, I will say I'm far from an expert. Almost everything that are in these guides I've learned from the Discord or, reading through the official docs, and I don't have any intention to replace the official docs. I think everybody should still reference those for the latest and, the official way to do things. But I do think with guides like this, it helps newcomers who might not be super familiar. Like I've said, I've been a part of a lot of these projects, and I know when I first joined back in December for Autonomys, I was clueless, and it seems like there's just so much information out there that you don't really know where to start. So my goal with the ultimate guide, and that might be a bit ambitious, like it's probably not the ultimate guide, but it is a really good Autonomous guide, and I'm hoping that when we do the mainnet launch, anybody that's been on these projects before, you usually get an influx of like new people asking the same question over and over again. I think for those that want to do potentially like a Docker route or are running Linux already, they can just get this guide and go through it and be able to get started. And they have like a nice starting point that covers maybe the most basic stuff. But of course, I still enjoy looking through the official docs. They get updated really quickly, and there's new features coming out all the time. So I don't want to replace those, but I do think it's a great resource for new users that are just joining Autonomous and want to jump right into it.
Absolutely, and so there's no you're quite kind of upfront about being let's say, a containerization maximalist, maybe.
Yes.
My journey has been when I first got into Subspace, I was all Docker, all Docker all the way, and I've kind of gone full circle, which is I've ended up. I don't know whether this means I've got lazier, but I'm actually running Space Acres at the moment. It's just so easy. But
Yeah.
I must admit, reading your content makes me want to fire up Portainer. I've not used that before. And having that kind of one place to manage all your composes is quite attractive to me. So yeah, I've got a feeling that I for mainnet I may well switch to a Docker based solution. So and I must say that I thought I was a bit of an expert on Docker, but I learned a few tricks from your posts. So thanks for that, Alex. So I guess, talking about mainnet, what are your plans for mainnet, Alex?
Yeah, like I said, I just shut everything down last night. I jumped the gun a little bit, but I had to do some maintenance on some things, so I figured I'd just take it down. But I'm just trying to get all my gear configured. I think since I started Autonomous, I've probably changed around my hardware 100 times and like redone everything like 100 times. So I'm just doing that. Hopefully, one more time before mainnet, getting all my stuff ready. The GPU plotter was definitely a big disruptor, so I need to reconfigure some things to make sure that the GPUs that I have, I'm able to plot, the most efficient way. I might do the method where I just have a computer that I swap NVMe drives out of and plot that way, just because the network bandwidth might be an issue for me, but we'll see. But I also want to get out a few more guides. Like I am a big Docker fan. Most of my stuff is in Docker, but I don't shy away from just doing some CLI stuff or even Space Acres. That was one of my like bigger videos. Was when Space Acres first came out. I did a guide on that, and I got a lot of views because that really is the fastest way for people that are running Windows. And Nizar has done such a good job with releases. I'm not sure if there's other contributors, but shout out to anybody that's been working on that. It's an amazing application, and I do recommend that for anybody that's running Windows.
Yeah, absolutely. So I must admit that I'm up for switching to the cluster. Now the pressure's off.
Yeah.
And I agree. Nazar's work on delivering the cluster, which I think maybe behind GPU plotter was one of our most thumbs upped feature requests. The composability that the cluster affords means you really can squeeze every last of performance out of all the kit you've got hanging around. So yeah, I agree. Kudos to Nazar. And I think that, really that does go hand in hand with some sort of infrastructure as code set up. So yeah, I think I'm going to be coming back over to the dark side for mainnet myself. I'll
It's a
keep
lot
you
of fun.
posted. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll keep you posted. And thanks very much, Alex. Really appreciate those insights into what you're working on. And yeah, feel free to drop some links in the chat to your channels. Hopefully, our community will show you a follow and a like. I know I have.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
No worries. Okay, that was really interesting. Great. I do recommend that everyone checks out the Autonomous Guide. Like I say, the Ultimate Autonomous Guide from Alex, because it's, as I say, I think there's something to learn for everyone in there. Okay, I see Ryan's come on camera. Ryan, are you going to give us a bit of a rundown on the Genesis data contest so far?
Of course. Thank you, Jim, for the introduction. What is up, everyone? For anyone who is new to the call here, we are running the Genesis Data Contest. This is basically a chance for community members to submit data that they want to be stored in the very first Genesis block of our mainnet. And on top of that, we're also giving away a crazy amount of merch. There's going to be up to 23 winners, which is honestly a very good return on investment. And surprise, surprise, the award packages may include some legacy merch that we're specially designing to pay tribute to the Gemini testnet. So I encourage everyone on this call to give it a shot. It takes less than 5 minutes for a really big reward. And it's also fun. When we look back in a year, 2 years, 3 years, a decade, one of you will be seen as an OG of Autonomous because your data is literally in the first block. And that is a pretty cool full circle moment to have in the future. So currently we have 14 creative and funny submissions. on this call, I want to highlight 3 of them. So first is our very own mainnet security guard. With any luck, the security guard will be at our launch party, hopefully. So big shout out to Stonik for cooking this meme up. This was honestly, I was taking a break from work and I saw this. I thought it was pretty funny. Oh, it's yours? Yeah, okay. So I want to shout this one out. The next submission I want to highlight is an absolute gem by Vexer, one of our ambassadors. And put in the chat if you ever played Wolfenstein 3D. I'm too young for this, so I haven't played it, but I know Jim has. And it's just an awesome old school shooter, which is also open source, which perfectly aligns with Autonomous values. And I want to highlight that Vexer's explanation for why this data matters to the community is really, really good. So in all your submissions, be sure to say why this matters so that people will vote for your post. Finally, this next highlight is a really cute one. One of our community members wants to submit a picture of their kid. So if anyone has kids there who wants to submit and put them in Autonomous blockchain, I think this would be a really cool opportunity. So make sure to submit it. I also want to add some submission guideline help. Please remember to submit data that's 1 kilobyte to 1 gigabyte in size. One of our team members actually tried to back up too much data, so I'm just trying to remind everyone about this. Remember, the deadline for submissions is October 4th. So there's still a lot of time, and I'm looking forward to your submissions. And the voting process will continue for 5 days after the submission deadline for October 9th. And all you do is vote by going to the Genesis Forum Discord channel and then just put an Autonomous logo, and you voted for that post. So I'm really impressed with how creative and unique our community is. I'm looking for more submissions. And back to you, Pradeep.
Thanks, Ryan. I'm not sure, is
Sorry.
Pradeep ready? Are you there, Pradeep? Thanks for that, Ryan.
Yeah. Sorry, did I interrupt Ryan in any way?
No, you're clear. So you're going to introduce. So this isn't the only community initiative we have on the cards, not by a long chalk. But and I think you're gonna tell us a little bit about that, Freddie. You're gonna give us a little sneaky peek into what we've got planned.
Sure. And again, Ryan, sorry if I interrupted you in any way. I didn't mean to. So yeah, this brings us to the Autonomous adventure. We're about to make waves with our mainnet launch. Yes, as we count down to mainnet, we crank up a bunch of exciting and cool contests, challenges coming your way. We humbly naming it Big Splash Movement, but you can call it mainnet launch extravaganza if you want. Not saying this because I'm Brazilian, but really, we're in for a contest carnival incoming. So get ready for a tsunami of fun, whether you're a seasoned pro Autonomous community member or a newbie. There's a reward and a splash zone for everyone. Now, this brings up nostalgic memories. Now, with the greatest hits trailer, for those who have been with us for some times, some of you may remember those epic events. If you want to get nostalgic like me, I'm gonna drop here some links of some of these big splash events we ran up last time. I'm gonna drop it here in the chat for if you want to check it out. But yeah, it was pretty much about the storytelling and hardware contest. There was once upon a time in a galaxy full of setups and cool setups you all shown that was really impressive. We aiming to revisit that. There was hunting, scavenger hunt. We all flexed your brain muscles and answer up the trivia contest. That was very informative and educational as well. Ryan, keep me honest, but we shuffle up and dealt poker nights, didn't we? High rollers, Marty gamblers hanging around, waiting for the river. some sad stories about a pair of jacks. I mean, sad or happy, depending where you sat. It was really awesome. Now, back to the present and up next, what are the coming attractions? Now, we wait for you, mainnet Meme Lords, a Meme Lords contest where we want to see the coolest, weirdest, and wildest memes. We laughed so much last time. Please let us do it again. And with that, will take us subsequently to the exclusive Genesis Farmer NFTs. So yes, Early birds catch the worm. In this case, early birds catch the NFTs. I certainly, for one, don't want to miss out to be among the first to farm and snag these historic collectibles. Following that, and I really can't wait for it. The hardware context 2.0, and this is really out of the world for me. I take it really personal. Last time we experienced this, we had like over 30 submissions, and it was very nurturing and very engaging. We've seen community members showing up, building up the setups with their families, with their daughters. Others who took a more greenish approach and showcase how how we can build setups with the minimal environmental impact as possible, using recycle structures, family built, and really out of this world. Was very, very, very interesting, and I can't wait to revisit that again. But having cited those three initiatives, let's not forget this. This is your stage and your show. So if you got $1 million idea for a contest, we are all ears. Truly, we mean to. I mean, please drop your suggestions either here in the chat or anywhere in Discord. If it's epic and doable, take my word for it. We will make it happen. So countdown to awesomeness. The big splash phase is just beginning. Now we got loads of cool stuff in the works. So gear up, dive in, and let's make this launch unfreaking forgettable. Assemble, community. Let's see the hype, bring the fun, and let's win some epic prizes together. Okay. In that spirit, I drop the mic to everyone, to the audience, to answer the Q&A.
Yeah, thanks, Pradeep. So we've got some exciting community initiatives. We know that there's a little gap between us ending the incentivized testnet on Gemini 3H. It's still going to carry on running. People are still welcome to test out and optimize for mainnet. But as Pradeep says, we've got some real exciting ways for the community to remain engaged while we wait for the preparations for mainnet. I'll drop a link to the post where we with the latest update on our phased launch roadmap. But yeah, we keep an eye out for that. And as Pradeep says, if you have a great idea, please do reach out to us. If we can make it happen, we will do. Thanks very much, Pradeep. Okay, so we're going to shift into the Q&A session, and I'm going to try and find. Hopefully, we've got some question marks. Okay, let me go up. A lot of chat today. Been great seeing so much, actually. Not been able to keep up. Right, first question mark. Where okay, Suraj, it doesn't have a question mark, but when tokenomics. As I mentioned earlier, now we've ended incentivized testnet, we're able to make those final calculations. We're going to know exactly what the testnet allocation is going to be. That unlocks us for being able to produce the tokenomics. I didn't mention it earlier on the call. If you didn't quite catch it, we expect in the next couple of weeks. Okay. Suraj, any benefits for Galaxy tasks? At the moment, it's just for education. We've answered that many times. Okay. Jensen, good. Hey, I haven't seen you for a while. Are the default parameters suitable for RTX 4090? So this was a question, I saw it pop up actually while we were talking about the GPU plotter. What I can say is that Space Acres out of the box pins the GPU for me. It's a 4090 and I'm seeing roughly 6-second sectors. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say, yes, the default parameters are suitable for RTX 4090. Feel free to correct me if anyone's got better knowledge there than I. I'm not sure how to say your name, my friend, but has the 3H reward stopped? I think that came up just before we stopped it. It's been stopped on this call. The block has been announced. Okay, lots of salutes for the network. Love to see that. Lots of hearts, lots of autonomous symbols. Okay, and yeah, just to reiterate, the final block of the incentivized phase of the Gemini 3 testnet was 3,338,258. We'll put up a forum post later, as we always do, just to document everything. Dragon P still running 4 nodes. One's still running next to me. Don't worry, I'll be experimenting on Gemini 3H for a while yet. Every good thing must eventually reach its end. Making way for something even bigger to begin, even better to begin. Vex are very philosophical, and I couldn't agree more. As I said, we're starting the countdown to mainnet rather than just ending in incentivized testnet. Okay, I saw this question come up. TSSC after the block cannot be exchanged for ATC. I think what you're asking, Fiery Swan, is, are they no longer incentivized? So yes, that means that block and vote rewards that you earned before that block will count towards incentivized testnet rewards, which get converted into mainnet rewards. So hopefully that answers your question. I agree. Great presentation from Alex. That was a great chat. Fireside chat almost. Okay, we're a bit light on question marks this week. Yeah. Okay, Penguin. Okay, 4 question marks, but only 2 questions. Okay. One, guys, some time ago, actually a long time ago, there was a conversation about selling tokens using the TokenSoft platform. At first, it was an announcement about a future sale. Then there was information that there would be nothing. Then they said that there would be, but closer to the autumn. And how are things at the moment? There is no sale plan to run a sale, Penguin. I think we have said that on the a couple of times recently, but that's been the plan for a while now. If you see anyone saying otherwise, let me know, please. 2, Stake Wars 2. The approximate timeline is clear, Q1 25. And what network is this planned to run on? Is it on the main net, or will it be run on a test network first? Just if on mainnet, are you sure that everything will go well? I've heard that the plan is not 2 domains, but 3 at once. Where do you get this information? And if on the test, who will test it? All balances will be empty as testnet is over, or the realization will be through faucets. Yeah, okay, Penguin. So let's break that down. So no, we won't just run Stake Wars 2 on mainnet. The point of Stake Wars 2 is to test execution and domains and staking and all that good stuff. Or you need to test it on a testnet. So we did talk on this previously. It's in that roadmap post, which I will find in a minute. And what we are planning to do is to release a new persistent testnet. Here's the link to the roadmap that's got the items on it and a talk on this. So we're going to have a new network, a new test network that we're codenamed Taurus. We are looking for a good name for it, and that will be a testnet that we will continue to upgrade. So it'll be like our canary network. So the idea is that as we upgrade, or if we deploy upgrades to mainnet, they'll be run on this testnet first. And that testnet is where we're going to run Stake Wars 2. Yeah, and it's a good point about the balances. We don't have firm details yet, but absolutely, there's a very good chance that we will run some sort of faucet. It'll probably be a manual faucet so we can validate the users requesting the tokens. But this is pretty fluid at the moment. We are kind of laser focused on launching mainnet phase 1 at the moment. But as soon as we have firm information, you guys in the community will be the first to know, because we'll be posting it all over the forum and Discord. Okay, let me know if I missed any part of the question. Or has anyone got a question that I missed? Napa, GPU plotter, what actually prevents the GTX 10 or GTX 16 cards from working? I think it's features. I'm not sure if Nizar may have answered this.
Let me answer that. Yeah. So the short answer is performance is the reason. On GPUs starting with Volta architecture, which didn't have consumer cards, but there are like Titan Vs and Quadros Teslas. There is also CMP 100HX-2 210. If you have that one, those will be supported and everything newer than that, which means RTX like 2070, 2080, and so on. Those GPUs have 64 or more kilobytes of shared memory that is required for the algorithm to be efficient. It would be possible to implement it with less, but it will be like the performance would suffer on newer GPUs, and implementing it for both new GPUs and old GPUs is much slower and more expensive for us. So we decided to focus on somewhat recent GPUs, like 2000 series RTX cards were around for a couple of years now. So that was the trade-off we decided to make.
Thanks, Nazar. Okay, let us know if you have any follow-up questions, Napa. Celia, UC, shall we expect the mainnet launch on October 2024? That is our current plan, yes. That is a target date, of course. We launch when we're ready, when the software and everything else, all the other tasks that are in that roadmap post that I've just popped in the chat, all messages up from the bottom. When everything there is, everything on the critical path has been completed. We are going as quickly as possible. Yeah, okay, Napa. So previous testnet rewards on Astral are still missing, correct? Yeah, so again, in that post that I've linked, you'll see that, I think, was it the previous call or maybe the 2 calls ago, I explained that with Astral, Mark, who's on the call actually, one of our superstar devs, is working flat out on indexing all the data so that we can get the stake wars information all collected in one place, and we're actually going to release a comprehensive rewards checker. So all the previous test nets, including stake wars, anywhere where you could have earned incentivized testnet rewards, there's going to be a place for you to check your wallets and get a balance, what you earned. We're also going to have a place where you're going to be able to see how the calculations work for that. And we're actually going to kick off a community audit. So at the very least, obviously, you want to audit your own wallets, but we want complete transparency. We're committed to that. So we're going to make sure that you have the raw data available. Obviously, it's a permissionless blockchain. Everyone could, maybe you kept your node database from previous networks. But if not, we can. I'm going out on a limb and saying that we can provide that information to you and the calculations to arrive at the final amount of mainnet tokens that you've earned. So yeah, please do hang around. Again, another opportunity for you to engage and be kept busy between the end of the incentivized testnet and mainnet launch. One potato, okay. And I just saw a mention of Sparks. Yeah, I haven't seen Sparks so much. Sparks 60. I don't think he's easy on the call. But yeah, I agree with the comments being made there. Oh, he is. Okay. Hey, Sparks. Good to see you. Okay, I don't think I've missed any questions. Anyone? Did I miss anyone? Okay, if not, as we're approaching the end of our call, and as usual, what an incredible session it's been. Before we wrap up, I want to take a moment to reflect on everything we've covered today and look ahead to what's coming. First and foremost, a massive thank you to all of you who joined us today. It's your engagement, questions, and enthusiasm are what makes these calls so valuable. We've covered a lot of ground, from our exciting GPU plotting updates and celebrating Gemini 3 to marking the final block of our incentivized testnet phase. A special shout out to Alex from Hake Hardware for joining us and sharing insights on spaceport and the ultimate autonomous guide. As we move forward, remember that this is just the beginning. We're on an incredible journey together, and your continued support and participation are crucial as we approach mainnet. Here are a few things to keep in mind. Stay tuned for our upcoming special announcement call. Trust me, you don't want to miss this one. We've got some exciting reveals in store. Keep experimenting with your farming setups, especially now that we've released our official GPU plotter. Your feedback is invaluable as we refine and improve our technology. Don't forget about our ongoing Genesis data contest. There's still time to submit your entries and potentially be a part of Autonomous history while wearing some exclusive spiffy merch, a word that I've revived after Ryan used it the other day, spiffy. And we'll start deploying some of the exciting community initiatives Radik spoke on earlier. Again, do let us know if there's something you'd like to see us run. If it's feasible, we will consider it. Of course, further out, we have the space race, which will kick off at mainnet launch, and a race to activate mainnet rewards. So we've got a lot coming up, guys. Before we sign off, I do have one small request. If you haven't already, please follow us on Twitter. We are at AutonomousNet. And if you're feeling generous, help us spread the word by liking and reposting our announcements. As we gear up for mainnet, every bit of engagement helps us reach more people and grow our community. Remember, in the world of Autonomous, we're not just farming data, we're cultivating a revolution in blockchain technology. The future is bright and it's being built right here by all of us. Thank you once again for spending your time with us. Keep an eye on our socials for future announcements, and we look forward to seeing you at our next event. Until then, keep farming, keep questioning, and as always, stay connected. Thanks, everyone.